When you're looking for love, there's one thing that is the most important out of everything that you need to look for. You need to learn to look for God first. Second, self love. Third, how do you take that step into loving someone else for them? Having self love is very important. It is a part of you that has to be able to practice how to attend to yourself, how to understand who you are, and exactly what that means. Self love is also a state of appreciation for oneself that grows from actions that support our physical and psychological spiritual growth. It means having a high regard for your own well being and happiness, taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well beings to please others. Self love can mean something different for each person because we're not all the same person. Our self love is always going to look different from your spouse or your parents or your siblings or your friends or just even a stranger on the street. Self love is going to look different for each individual. We all have different ways we take care of ourselves. We have different ways the way we feel. We have different boundaries. For starters, it can mean talking to and about yourself with love, prioritizing yourself, giving yourself a break from self-judgment, trusting yourself, being true to yourself, being nice to yourself, setting healthy boundaries, forgiving yourself when you aren't being true or nice to yourself. We often need to go back to the basics in order to get to self-love. You need to understand what your body is telling you. Make sure that you're having that individual time to yourself to feel who you are. A lot of us, and in this very thing, no matter what others feel for you, self love means accepting you. Now, don't get me wrong, we all need improvement. So, self love does not mean to sit around and not care for yourself because you're supposed to be accepted for who you are. No, self love, that is a part of self love, caring for yourself, caring for your outer appearance, but at the same time, caring for your internal and changing your internal you to be a better you, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financial, and psychological. And the main reason we should practice self love is because it helps us to become a better person for ourselves. And if you're a person that is looking for a spouse, self love can help you to be able to love someone else. And when you don't have self love, it is not going to be beneficial to try to love somebody else. Because if you can't love yourself, how can you love somebody else? You can mask it, you can pretend it, you can play with it, but it is not going to be real. And it may not last due to that. And there's a high percentage it will not last due to you don't love yourself. When you don't love yourself, a part of self-love, if your spouse goes to the store and comes back a little bit late, you not having self-love can turn into jealousy because you're insecurity. And then here you are attacking a person who just simply went to the store and you're feeling that he was cheating or, you know, out with somebody else or doing something he wasn't supposed to, simply because you don't have self-love and you don't trust. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people out there that do need that. But those are the type of people that you need to stray from. When you have self-love, you will immediately know wrong from right, a spirit of discernment. Because you're not going to let someone treat you less than what you are worth. So that person that you know that's going to cheat on you and that you can't trust to go to the store, you won't even take mind to that person. They won't be even a part of you because you will already know from the very beginning. But when you do have that self-love, you will know, think, and feel better and be able to understand what it is you want and what you do not want a lot clearer. Be able to take actions based on your needs rather than your wants. Do you learn self-love? It is a continuance with age, with life change, with mishaps in life, with losses in life. You'll be able to easily deal with those emotions and be able to learn where to put those emotions. Don't get me wrong, you will grieve and you will feel lonely and sad and all those things. But when you have self-love, it is easier to come back from that. Also, when you have God in your life and you love God first and He's coming first in your life, He can lead and guide you through that. He can lead and guide you in finding self-love and how to place that in your own life. I have watched so many people look for love in different things. Unfortunately, there are some people that look for love in material things. And when they find a relationship, they don't understand how to love that person for that person. So they try to dress that person up. They try to change that person into who they want that person to be. They don't love that person for themselves. So then when boundaries are crossed or when they can't change that person into a material object, they no longer love that person. They only love the thought of what that person can become. So how do you change that? How do you change that mindset to learn to love someone for who they are? First, you need to take the step back and look, like I said, love God first, then love yourself. God will guide you. That's why you need to love Him first. God will guide you. God will take you where you need to go. God will give you the patience to delay while He's aligning the plan for your soulmate. So God comes in a lot of things first because He is the one that's going to head it. Second, you have to love yourself. Allow yourself to feel your feelings. Remember, it's really hard to show up for people that you love if you're not engaging in a reasonable degree of self-love. Agape is a Greek word for love, as a Philautia. Philautia is a Greek word for self-love. Meaning is self-compassion, or represents a healthy regards for one's own well-being, happiness, and self-worth. It is considered the foundation for loving others, allowing individuals to nurturing their mental, physical, and emotional health without falling into narcissistic vanity. Healthy boundaries, self-acceptance, embracing your true self and not requiring validation from others. Inner dialogue, maintaining a positive and support relationship with your own mind, body, spirit, and soul. This can lead to a higher self-esteem, confidence, and the ability to love others. You cannot adequately offer love if you do not possess it in oneself. It's a double-edged sword if you do. In your life, you want to get to that point where you have agape love, the highest form of love. It is selfless, unconditional, sacrificial, often referring to God's love or love for mankind. It is a decision to compassionately, righteously, and responsibly seek well-being of another. Start with a decision, not a motive. When life is lifing, keep on living. I'm out.